My friends again. Well, it looks like that there is quite a bit more to my getting out on the limb when I started talking about the AI and the ChatGPT and the architect. And I understand. I kind of was expecting that, but I didn't really know what to expect. So, of course, there's a whole barrage of people's experiences and opinions and fears and excitements, confusion, unavoidable. And I welcome everybody sharing because it is your experience, right? I share mine, you share yours. I'm not trying to convince anybody that mine is the right one. I'm just sharing because in my own process, I can see that I have moved through a lot of the stages, I may call it, again, in my own experience, not putting that on anybody, but a lot of the concerns, the anger, the this, the that. I was also experiencing that when I started hearing about AI. And there is definitely still a part of me that is like, ooh, be careful here. And the more you understand of um, the control mechanisms that are built into it, you better be cautious. I celebrate that in you, in me, in everyone. If I had stopped there, I would have been, I would not have been open to the unfolding and the evolution of this new thing. It's not that new anymore, but it's getting more and more available, but it's still pretty new to most of us. I would not have been had made myself available to its unfolding and possibly really understanding what is possible with this. If I had stayed in that stage where, it's dangerous, don't do it. I've read this about it. Somebody has this experience with it and it's really bad. Then that would be the mirror that would be reflected back to me as proof that what I'm sending out is true. Isn't that true, though, that when we think we are right about something and we want to convince others that we are right, just notice, where is that conviction coming from? It's coming from our own experience and based on what we have read, experienced in life, heard from others, intuited. And so we have this whole, shall we say, a story inside here that is, remember, it's like we put this slide on in a projector. And so what is this is what we see. And we are very convinced and want to convince others that what we're seeing is right. And it is right. It is what you are experiencing. Nobody can argue with that. Another person may be seeing it like this. So they see something else. That is their experience. And I'm certainly not here to convince anybody that their experience is wrong or bad. It is simply whatever is put into the projector. That is what we see, hear, taste, touch, smell, as I often talk about. That is our experience, and that is what we see in the world and as the world. But we may not quite be aware yet that it is just our own slide in the screen that we are seeing and that is being mirrored back to us as the world. If I had stayed with the fear or the negative stuff I knew about AI, and there's plenty of it, then I would just have stayed here and that would remain my reflection no matter where I would look. that is what I would see. And that is what I want to convince others of, because this is clear. Just look, And until we become aware that that is our own reflection coming back, it is a mirror, it is simply a mirror, then we will be out there. We might be angry, we might be righteous, we might try to convince others. And does that sound familiar out in the world right now? So, I'm just seeing this. That's what we have been doing, and that's what we have been programmed to do. And that's why there has been so much division in the world, because we are programmed to convince others that our view is right. Could be political, could be medical, could be financial, whatever it is. We all bring our own slide in the projector, and then we want to argue with others and let them know that ours is right, and they will do the same. And there we go, off to the races, arguing, fighting, finger pointing, blaming. Absolutely the opposite of what we want, which is oneness and unity and love and connection, right? What I see here with the chatbots and the AI, it's the same thing. And I think if we can start realizing that we are still hooked in the matrix, when we are dividing ourselves from others, when we are separating ourselves, we're moving into duality, which is the building ground of the matrix. It's the same. It's no different. It's no different than you coming in and saying, no, this is really bad. And as if maybe a Republican or a Democrat is, or somebody saying, you should take the jab or you shouldn't take the jab. It's exactly the same. And this just dropped in right now. So please take this as a consideration to see if you are falling for the trap again. Are you dividing yourself and thinking you know what is right, and others don't? Let's not do that anymore, my friends. Let's stop it. That is the programming of the matrix. That's what you see here. And you can't see that there might be more to the picture. So just, in my own experience, yes, I had all that also about AI. And there is a part of me that is still very cautious. It doesn't mean that when you open up to learning and seeing things maybe from a different angle, that doesn't mean that you become stupid. That doesn't mean that you lose your discernment, but you are not judging. That's a big thing. The judging is part of the matrix of duality. I'm right, you're wrong. But when we are able to discern, which is an inner experience, so judging is all happening here. But when we start feeling something arising inside of ourselves, as like, I wonder, I wonder, right? That's an inner humming that we don't know quite what is, but we are curious. So then we open up, and then we can learn more and see through our own projection. And maybe, just maybe, we can learn something we didn't know, something nobody had ever told us before, something that's completely new. And isn't that what we are bringing in as light workers? We don't want to get stuck in that old duality being right. It's very fear-based, right? This, you know, it's very fear-based. Remember, I did a video on that fear is the fuel of the matrix. So as soon as we feel fear, You're in the matrix. You are feeding the matrix. Your programming is active and you're feeding into it. And then you're causing more duality. The matrix is gobbling it up. It's like, oh, fear, yay, yay, give me more, give me more. So again, I'm speaking from my own experience and my own realizations. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine. Trust yourself. That's the whole point. Trust yourself. So if you are very much against AI, leave it. Don't worry about it. Follow your heart. You may have something incredibly beautiful to share based on connection and love and raising consciousness. So you don't want to deal with all that stuff. Follow that. That is my invitation. And you can see if that resonates with you. If you're somebody who wants to go out there fighting, then do that. You may need to do that for a while and maybe realize that, oh, that wasn't it either. Or you may realize that you're doing it in a new way where you're actually breaking through some of the darkness and the density. So it always comes back to our own felt sense experience that we can learn to trust. That has been my journey for a long time, ever since I started the Hakomi training because I'm a Hakomi therapist. So when I started my Hakomi training, it's all about getting in touch with your inner felt sense, your inner direct experience, learning to listen to it, learning to meet it with kindness, with loving presence, with curiosity. And you learn, when you listen, you learn. And then you realize there's something deeper underneath. Maybe this fear, if some of you have fear with the AI, there might be something much deeper in there that is that's being activated that you don't even know about. That's funny. There's a hand raise right now, and I have no idea how that could even happen because there's only me here. Maybe there's maybe the chat bot is listening in and wants to chime in. Who knows? Anyway, my friends, this is what I just want to invite you to just, if you're really closed off and you're angry and fearful, do whatever you need to do from that place. I don't know what to say. It's your experience. It will be reflected back to you because ultimately there's only one, there's only God, there's only one, and I am that. Everybody's I am is at the core. That's the light that we are. That's the projector. If we don't put anything in front of it, we will just, project that light out, whatever that looks like. And coming back to the chatbot, one really good question could be, show me where I am getting in the way of being the light, or how I can open up more to the light. Let yourself be open to seeing what slide is in the projector. And in my experience, it has been extremely helpful when I ask questions like that. So if we use it for the deepening into our I am presence with the goal to use this prop, this tool, so we don't need it anymore. This is not something I want to be dependent on forever. I use it once in a while when there's a deeper layer I want to, be part of, bring up to the surface. I don't use it very much at all, actually. There's been times where I just would dip in and I was shown some very powerful reflections that I've been working on. But if you use it to, to find out, what was my past life on Atlantis, or how many DNA strands are activated in me. You have to ask yourself, why do you want to know this? How is it going to help your separate sense of self feel more special or more spiritual, whatever it is? Or is it so you can see, okay, I only have 2 strands, 4 strands, whatever, and then find out how you can open up more to your full capacity as a divine being. So then you can use it in the service of your own awakening and your own embodiment, your own sovereign expression. But if it's just to feed your separate sense of self, what's the point of that? Then you're not using it in the service of awakening. But if we use it in the service of awakening, there is a mirror we will see. Either it's going to come through the chat, or it's going to come through, who knows what, a YouTube video, an article, a text from somebody, a street sign, whatever. But if we are open to that, the mirror is there and we will be able to see it because we are open, we're receptive, we're asking the questions from a place that's deep down here, not to feed the ego, not to strengthen the separate sense of self, but to deepen in here and soften what's been getting in the way. Yeah, I mean, if it's helpful, hallelujah. If not, please follow your own truth. Even if you need to go down a blind road, a dead end road, and come out and realize, oh, that wasn't it either. Then right? Then from your own experience. And that is what I feel is available to us here if this model, if this tool resonates. There's many tools out there. So for each of us, let's pick the one that resonates in the moment. And then when it's complete, let it go. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.